Hello, hello, hello. Hey, this is Corey Bretz. Welcome to Spirit Circles. In case you don't know what Spirit Circles is, you've stumbled into the place where occasionally some of us get together to chit chat about what's really going on. What do I mean by that? I mean, what's really going on in the universe? What are we really experiencing, and what's our role in it, and how do we influence it? I hate the word it, by the way, but occasionally I use the word it, sometimes with a capital I and sometimes with a little I. So one of the cool things that we do with Spirit Circles is every Sunday, or most Sundays anyways, a number of us get together and we have a little discussion circle, which is stuff about the law of attraction, stuff you might have heard in the movie The Secret a number of years ago, and things that you might have heard about from Science of Mind or Course in Miracles or Abraham or dozens of other fabulous sources of information, wisdom really, about how this reality really works. And so this coming Sunday it's a real tough one, and I'm owning that. It's tough for me. In case you're just checking in here, it's Corey Bretz, and what's interesting for me is that the concept of of being a human being versus a human doing has always been a struggle, and what I mean is that I guess, like a lot of people, I picked up as a child this idea that in order to be valuable, in order to be loved, in order to be accepted, in order to be cherished, and actually in order to not be rejected, thrown away, dismissed, abandoned, I needed to be useful. I needed to prove my value, my worth by doing amazing things. And that was, hey, don't get me wrong, that idea that if I have to do something amazing, or to show up and participate in this moment in a vibrant, alive, genuine, authentic, inspired way, and then act from that place and do amazing things. Don't get me wrong, that's awesome. That's totally awesome. But I think it misses the point, and it certainly is different than my childhood understanding of it. So you hear this all the time, that people are a human doing rather than a human being, and it's cute. It's a cute little aphorism, but it's taken me a lot of years to understand what that means. But one of the practices that I've been working on for the last couple of years is meditation, contemplation, kind of like the Zen of being in the moment. And it is not as easy as it looks. And there's some people who tell me that meditation is something you practice because it is something that needs practice, and I agree with that. But what one of the hardest things about meditation, I find, is the fact that I'm not doing anything. In fact, I'm doing the opposite of doing. I'm not doing. I'm doing nothing, and and that's kind of the point, really, is for me to get in the space between my thoughts, because I'm not my thoughts. Now, my thoughts are powerful things, but they aren't me. And I seem to produce a gazillion thoughts per second, and they seem to fill my entire attention. And I don't know if that happens for you as well. That those thoughts can actually race, and the speed of them picks up and goes faster and faster and faster, until I don't know about you, but I finally feel just absolutely exasperated and confused and ungrounded, lost even. And so this idea of meditating or contemplating, or doing something Zen-like, is really the not doing, the being in the moment without trying to accomplish anything. And it is so anti-Western, what your school teacher might have told you, that it is hard to do. And so this coming Sunday, we're doing one of our spirit circles, and it's actually going to be at my place in Marpole. Sunday morning, October 28th, we gather at doors open 9:30. The circle starts at 10 a.m. We run till noon, and then we stand around and eat have some coffee and have some snacks and things like that. It's open to anybody. So if you're interested in that, the link is in the comments field here for the Facebook event. Click going, message me privately offline, and I'll send you the address. Bring a friend. If you know anybody who's sort of into spiritual kinds of things, has been sort of doing some self-growth, or has been looking at who they really are, and what that means, we've got a spot for them, and they'd be certainly welcome here. So one of the things that we do during our spirit circles is we actually discuss one of the articles that's in Science of Mind magazine. This is the October issue, and this magazine's been around for pretty darn close to 100 years, and every month it's chock-a-block filled with concepts and articles and stories that are really about how our mind is actually creating this reality, the thing we call our life. And so, and what are the rules of that game? What are the laws that are actually operating? Not much different than gravity or electricity, and how my microwave works, and my cell phone. So these are concepts and ideas that guys like Isaac Newton and Einstein and Stephen Hawking actually, as they worked on quantum mechanics and the theory of relativity and stuff like that, even gravity, they sort of came to the realization that there was predictable and recognizable patterns that they were observing as scientists in the universe. And while churches and religions might have glommed onto a lot of it and sort of pulled it out of the hands of the average human being, the scientists, even to this day, are sort of all coming to the conclusion that there is something going on in the universe that is largely invisible, yet it seems to be informing everything. All of the mechanical, biological, atomic, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know the right words, but you know what I mean. Everything that goes on, there's an order to it, and it's far more eloquent or elegant, I guess is what I'm looking for, than pure chance. These are what scientists are saying, not me. I don't study that kind of stuff. What I do study is the unseen part of it, the part of how the universe operates that is accessible to me. And one of the things I came across, probably like you, a couple of years back, was the movie The Secret. And there was this one little concept in there of manifesting a parking spot. Like the simplest thing, when you're driving into, a shopping mall, or try to park your car in the street somewhere, there's two ways you can go at it. One, you're driving along saying things to yourself like, oh, it's really hard to find parking. I never get a spot. And I have to drive around for hours and hours and hours. And it's really frustrating. And you know what happens? That's exactly what happens, is that you have this really frustrating experience of trying to find a park spot, not finding one for a long time, then being late wherever you're going. The other way to go about it is to be driving towards the place you're going to arrive at, knowing with absolute 100% certainty that there is a parking spot waiting for you. In fact, why don't you call it Rockstar VIP parking, and it's right up front. And being in a place of already being in gratitude for knowing that it's done, that someone's already handled it for you, and that parking spot is right there. And inevitably, and I don't know about you, but when I drive up, there's my spot right there. And I just pull in, and I get to reaffirm being calm and peaceful and happy and joyous, and knowing that just like you, I was entitled to a good parking spot, and why not, right? So so there's these two ways of coming at it, which is one of them is negative and fearful based on all the bad things that I might have experienced in the past, or the other way is positive, which is accepting that good things are always on their way, and so that I can just relax into knowing that good things are just about to happen, right? And that is actually a spiritual or a metaphysical principle of the law of the universe. It's a law, really, and you know, the law that's operating, you know, around that. Now the secret sort of lumped all that together is the law of attraction, that, you know, we tend to attract experiences, effects essentially, that are you know, along the same vibration level that we're at. So if we're a really low level of vibration, all of fear and scarcity and lack and loss and, you know, scared, then that tends to be what the universe sends more of to us. If we tend to sort of lift our vibration up into a more of a hopeful, positive, safe, faithful, I don't know, there's a lot of words that don't seem to fit, but that's kind of what we use, you know, into a bit more of a higher level of thinking, then that tends to be what the universe sends us back is more beautiful things. So what we'll be talking about a little bit on Sunday morning coming up is how does your mindset affect what you're experiencing, and then as part of that, how does the being versus the doing affect your having? Let me say that again. So how, and I'm going to say it in the backwards. So how does what you're getting relate to, or is it a result of what you've been being and doing? So that's a really rich topic where we'll be working from an article in the Science of Mind. It starts on page 108, written by a lady by the name of, her name is Steph Swink, and she's a spiritual mind practitioner. And she's been studying metaphysical spiritual laws for a lot of years, 20 years. And, you know, her concept is that, you know, and you might have heard this from people like Deepak Chopra or Eckhart Tolle, guys like that who spend a lot of time talking about not the future and not the past, although they have a role, but they talk about the present, this moment, and you know, the now, and she says kind of the same thing, that the idea that how I relate to this moment. In other words, what do I bring to this moment? And then that's the question really is, am I bringing doing or am I bringing being? And into this very second, that's what affects the future. That's what affects the next moment. And so what is the quality of being that I need to show up with in this moment in order to have a fabulous next moment, next hour, next day, next week, next month, next year. You get the idea, right? So what do I gotta, who do I gotta be in this moment in order for my life to be the way I desire it to be going forward? And so if you're like me, I've been in a men's group for 25 years, and I've been in various what people would call spiritual discussion groups and things like that. And what I've found is that every time I sit down in that circle and I start to speak about my story, and I put some little bunny ears around story. What I mean is as I start to report on the things that seem to be happening to me as I live my life in this physical plane called Earth. I'm always challenged by somebody in the circle. Thank goodness, somebody wiser and smarter than me who's got a bit more self-presence and awareness. And they always say, "So, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? And what are you imagining for yourself?" And you'd think after all these years I wouldn't be stunned by that, but I am, because I think a lot of us have habitual, programmed beliefs and values that we picked up as kids, and were reinforced by television and movies and, you know, teachers, friends, family, and now the internet. Twitter, so it's like these are tapes. They're running automatically, and unless I'm paying 100% attention in this moment, I go into auto mode, and like an automaton, I suppose. And so what am I creating? What am I putting out into the universe that always says yes? I'm putting out more of the same. And so what do I get back? More of the same, right? So our trick, our challenge, our stretch coming up this Sunday is going to be to how to figure out how to, not even how to figure out, but just to actually practice being in the moment and choosing our thoughts, choosing what we want to focus on, knowing that the universe is listening. The universe has awesome creative power, and always delivers on whatever we think about and whatever we feel about to be true. And so I don't know what you're doing on Sunday. We'll be here at 9:30. Doors open up. You can just smell the coffee, probably from the street there, freshly ground, Arabica, dark roast beans. And so anyway, and then the circle starts at promptly 10 o'clock. We'll be wrapping at noon and drinking some more coffee and eating some more yummies and then heading off. So if you wanna come out and not necessarily do anything, maybe come out and choose to be yourself, however that is, and bring it up fully. We have a spot for you. The seating is limited, though, so you wanna reach out to me and click going or click my message Corey or phone me or something. Let me know you're coming so I can reserve a spot for you. So. However, whatever you're doing, whatever you're about to experience, I trust that it's going to be awesome. I know that that lots of great things are lined up for me, and I'm so grateful for that. So be well, and happy Friday. Namaste.